get in and out of Lil Wayne, because I'm realizing we don't really have the time considering what else I want to get into. Lil Wayne, he's got this new album out. It's called Funeral. Kind of interesting, right? Like, I don't know if he meant like this is supposed to be one of his last projects or his last project or something like that. He definitely didn't. It didn't seem to be hyped up that way, but it does deal a lot with the concept of death, because he has had some health issues like over several years now at this point. So it's not like, you know, again, we got to be cognizant of the fact people can go clearly anytime right now. Like, you know,
all right, Kobe.
Yeah. Conceptually interesting enough. I feel like Wayne's in kind of an interesting space right now. He hasn't been making the most interesting projects as of late, but
I'm not a crazy Lil Wayne fan, but I do think like in the grand scheme of like rap, I think he's pretty important.
Very, yeah, I think so.
And one of my favorite things I've always loved about him is his ability, kind of like, and this is a weird connection to make because they sound nothing alike, but it's the same way that I like Mick Jenkins in the sense that they're really good at punchlines, wordplay and punchlines without making it sound like corny as fuck.
Yeah,
they don't need the pause to be like, no, they just like they include it in the greater rhyme schemes, and that is like always funny to me. Like it's always fun and interesting.
Grocery bag.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Grocery bag. Oh my god.
And I mean, there's definitely times where Lil Wayne does have like a corny bar too.
He has the corny bars,
who doesn't,
and they show up in some areas.
He does, yeah.
He does in a lot, especially like in this album where I don't find the wordplay very corny at all. It's actually mostly pretty good. He does do some things sometimes where it's like, damn, I don't really know if I've ever heard someone say that before, but that sounds like a bar that like,
if anyone else said it, it wouldn't.
It might sound stupid, or it might just sound like he said, if you sleeping on me, rest in peace, which I feel like that's like kind of a common notion that people have used, but I don't know. Like I don't really recall off the top of my head someone just saying, if you sleeping on me, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just kind of comes up with the bars that other people don't come up with.
Like right under their nose.
Yeah. On your nose.
It's like how
low-hanging fruit that somehow someone didn't grab.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that can be a lot of his bars, but it's a long project. 24 songs long. I imagine that might be a Kobe homage as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard people say, well, it probably, you would assume it probably wasn't 24 tracks, and then maybe he added one more or something, because I have a feeling he wanted to do this long ass album, but
it is long. It is it's an hour and 15 minutes long.
It's long. It's too much Lil Wayne to be hearing today.
So
even though there are a couple good beats, there are many good flows. It's not enough to really make like an hour and 16-minute long.
There's another one of those
Wayne
albums
project.
Just that Mahogany joint.
Mahogany's fire. This song is
and this
fire.
was a good song to put second, like right off the bat. You know, this was like, I feel like most people can rock with this.
Yeah, he kind of got his like intro track, like setting the tone, feeling track, you know, right off the bat. But then Mahogany, Mahogany coming off of that is
the two of them.
Good dichotomy there. But this is one of those albums that I feel like we've been seeing a lot of lately. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think The Big Day is probably the first one that comes to my mind, where it's like, it's so long, like. And I get like there might be some sort of, you know, conceptual meaning there, like something important to the length of it, but it would have been so much more successful to me as an album listener if it was like you just pick the best 14 tracks out of this 24 track list.
Just get to the point.
Like I think this could, the highs on this album could be somewhere in like my, you know, top 30 albums of the year. Again, it's so early, it's hard to tell, but the highs on this album, if it was just those parts, would be like a top 30 album for me. But the fact that it's 24 tracks and an hour and a quarter long,
I feel like
that's just no way that I can find that much quality content in that long a track list.
That is where like people like me and you are going to be sort of the outsiders looking in terms of like consumers that people are going to be hoping to appease.
Right.
Because it's such a, you know, snap mindset generation that of music listeners that you know, things just kind of come and go. And you know, you might make a project this long hoping that there is just enough tracks on it to do well. People have felt. We did take some submissions on this as well. Adam the Arab, friend of the show, says, not a fan. I liked the first couple songs, so that would be Funeral and Mahogany. Again, great back-to-back. That was a great start to the album, I think, and tone setter. But, how much am I thinking about songs 1 and 2 when I'm in on songs 23 and 24, right? It's like those are two different albums.
Yeah.
That's so much to get. That's so much to just even remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's
yeah. And again, it like maybe the point is to just remember what you remember.
Right.
Like what you like from it. Because Snazzy Design says, 6 or 7 good songs. So for a music listener like him, 6 or 7 good songs out of 23 is not very great. But for some other listeners, I think maybe the fact that, I really like 6 or 7 songs out of this whole project is actually a really good thing. Carter 5 has good moments. These might be on par with one another because they're long. They're too long for me to want to listen to, but they have good songs. I think I like this
better than Carter 5.
I maybe like this better than Carter 5, but when I think about what came out after Carter 4 up until Carter 5, like a lot of that was just like Wayne just not really his best. It still makes me realize, though, even though I like this more than that he's just not going to be the same as any real previous version of himself.
Right.
He does like to change a lot, grow a lot. I can't help but think that his earliest music would be really interesting, like his earliest styles and raps, like rap flows and stuff like that would be really interesting in today's sound.
Yeah, because that's one thing about Wayne that I think a lot of other artists from that kind of era he hasn't done, which is like try to fit the mold of today's music. Like I still think like he kind of set the tone for today's music. So
he did.
It's different,
He's
but
he
definitely predated the music with everything he was doing from like 2007 to like 2014 maybe.
But if you look at like some of the stuff that Nas has done, some of the stuff M has done, like those kind of artists, they have tried to make like hits that would fit in today's music ecosystem, and Wayne doesn't do that.
Though.
Yeah, it does feel cheap, and that's what I'm saying is I think like even though his prime is probably past him at this point, I think we can all kind of agree on that. It doesn't feel like it's bad. Like I don't think anyone's gonna look at a Lil Wayne album and be like, oh man, Lil Wayne's done. Like there is still moments on here.
I think people are generally just happy to have some Lil Wayne music out.
I'm always happy to see Lil Wayne is still making music,
and for it to not be like
he should be forever celebrated, man. Like
he should.
What was it from him? We got Thug.
We got Thug.
Yeah, I mean like the whole Young Money era, right?
Yeah.
So like that sent Drake, Nicki, Tyga still like doing what they're still pops. They're still superstars today. Yeah. Even Tyga. Yes. Tyga went all the way to one end of the brink of extinction and came all the way back. I don't know how he did it, but now all three of them, still here. Yeah. Him to Young Thug, and then Young Thug to anybody else who Young Thug is influenced, right?
Pretty much everyone that wants to be Young Thug. And then you even see like Jid. Like I think Jid is a product of Lil Wayne in a sense. I think Jid has
absolutely. No, he's got like I said this when I remember reviewing the first album when it came out, driving around in my car. If you go to some of my earliest YouTube videos, I'm driving around in my car and reviewing albums. And one of them I did the Never Story, and my favorite thing about that album is like, sometimes he's rapping on here like on some something Wayne shit, like some year that starts with a 00.
Right.
And that, I mean, again, I would really like to see what that kind of a Wayne would be doing today. Maybe he would be more like a Jid.
Which would be awesome.
That reminds me, I saw the Jid tweet that was like, basically, Wayne's rapping his ass off. So I think
still got all the bars.
I think that's great because I know Jid is rapping his ass off currently, like more than a lot of people. So that's a great. That makes me happy to hear like younger people in the game, applauding the rapping from Wayne on this project, because that's one of the more entertaining parts of it for sure. He is really, really rapping. Songs themselves, again, 24 of them, Not happening. Not happening.
But we have a couple good ones on the playlist, so you check those out.
Yep.
See if you want to delve into it any further.
But on the whole thing about Wayne, at the core, he's just like an innovator, you know? Like
Yeah.
I absolutely love that where like how we were talking about how M and like who else did you mention?
Nas is another one.
Yeah,
that I think of.
Nas is on the Lil Nas like
Yeah, Nas is on Lil Nas X song.
Nas
this week,
X Nas, yeah.
and it just feels like you can see their panic, you know, of
yeah.
irrelevancy. And like I absolutely adore the fact that Wayne at its core, even after he's been whittled down after all these years, like that's essentially him getting out of his prime. He's been whittled down, but at the core, he's still shining, you know?
And
Like
he's had to go through all this legal trouble, you know, money being stolen from all this drama, right? On top of health issues and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's like, look, he always wants to morph. He never really wants to do what he was doing previously, which is why, you know, you'll just never really get any old Wayne back, you know, because that's just not really what he's out here trying to do. And you have to applaud that, especially on a project where I don't even have a problem with a lot of the music I'm hearing. It's just that it's too long. I'm not really going to sit here and do that for a Wayne project today. But that's not even really like a big hit on the album or him.
Yeah, it's not a reflection on
it's
him.
really like, no, I'm happy this is out there. Again, this is the streaming era where shit comes and goes.
Right.
This is something that was great for this weekend to hear. You know, if I want to tap back in with it another time, I will.
yeah.
And there's, you know, that's just kind of how things go. And there's no real problem with that. I'm not, you know, definitely not giving this like a negative review or nothing.
Right. It's weird when
Even
like
though I'll just say like I mean, I'm not going to be listening to it a lot.
It's weird when